What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.
True. Juice gun. We are back again, and I am so excited for this episode of What the Hell Do I Know with JB. But I just also want to say thank you, everyone that has liked, subscribed, commented. I cannot tell you on this journey how much it means when I get a message back from you or something. You know, when I see that there's an impact or that you bought into something we were saying, it means so much. We just had a pod not too long ago. And in fact, I was talking to Cindy this morning about it, how we had a reel that went out. It was a 24-second reel that is now like 14 hours. I was looking at it this afternoon. 14 hours of watching a 24-second reel. So there's certain things that are hitting you just never really know.
Yeah, carry the one.
My mother watched it a lot.
Thank you, Mom.
But it really does mean a lot, anyone that watches it. But hey, listen, you know, what the hell do we know? We're just a $10 podcast over here. But I do want to say, hey, welcome to our Floors.com studio, where Floors is your one-stop shop for your next flooring or wall covering remodel or new build. That's FLOORZZZ.com. So check them out. They'll ship you some floors. You go online, you check. I mean, you just can search. You can go through. You can say, I want bamboo stuff, or I want LVP, or I want tile.
Waterproof.
LVP is pretty good, right? Yep. Right? You could draw crowns on it and take it right up.
You can.
You can. And they click in. They have those stuff. They have the stuff that like floating floor stuff. They have so many different things.
I think I put
you
down
just gotta check them out.
I'd probably put down 15,000 square feet.
So when you say these words,
this is before I knew Floors.com, by the way. I would have used them 100%.
Well, now 100%. We're going to lose this sponsorship.
No, we're not.
Now we're kicked out of the studio.
You didn't have to mention that. Nobody would have known.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, they would have known. Yeah.
Floors, baby.
That's a good product, LVP. And Floors.
But when you say that you put down 1,400 square feet, is that what you're saying?
14,000
square feet. And when you say the word you...
I didn't do it. I paid for it.
You lost. Yeah. That's what I needed to understand. He uses this very liberally.
Yeah.
You know,
there was some ownership there for sure. Yeah.
Let me tell you what, Floors.com, double Z, 2 O's.
You were crazy. You were crazy askewed on that one.
Did you have to know to spell floor?
I was like, this Floors
has 2 O's, right?
It was.
Here, I'm going to move this just a little bit there for you, Cindy. I want to be able to hear you because that brings me to our guest today. Miss Cindy. Is it? See, I always get confused. Is it Miss or Mrs.?
It's Mrs.
Mrs., right? If you're married, it's Mrs. If you're not married, it's Miss.
You can use Ms. anytime you want. But
now, you think that as a man. You think that as a man.
That's actually incorrect.
Thank you. Tell him.
Man, Miss Gallagher.
If you're married,
third grade teacher messed me up.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It's Mrs. MRS.
Yes.
Mrs. Cindy Garrard.
Okay.
Did I get that last name right?
Yes.
That's all. I mean, I figured I would, but I'm terrible at last names. I butcher them all. But I am so excited to have you here on the show. Cindy, I've been producing a podcast for her that is so cool. We're going to dive into a little bit what she's doing with Soul Hype Cindy. And man, she's just got a couple episodes out and they're getting downloads. People are watching. She's getting comments and feedback back. What I love about it is it's that female voice. I mean, we just a bunch of dudes over here. I mean, what the heck do we know? Right? I want that. We're trying. Honestly, I'm so excited to have you on. This year, we've had more females on this season than we did last season.
And great shows.
The entire season. And they're great shows. They hit really well. I think our viewers love to see that other perspective. So I'm just excited to hear what you have to say. But it is now time to play What the Hell Do I Know with Mrs. Cindy Garrard. So I'm excited. 7 questions, rapid succession. You can pass if you need to. No gotcha questions.
Okay.
We're going to put a clock on.
Okay.
Clock's on. And here we go.
Okay.
Number 1, Big Mac, Whopper, or Whataburger?
Whataburger.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 2.
With jalapenos.
That's the best one. Number 2, farthest race you have ever run?
Half marathon.
Half. That's a tough one. 13.1. That's great.
I ain't done
Number 3, campground or Four Seasons?
Four Seasons.
Heck, yes.
Yes. Hey, with the
am
Four
with you.
Seasons with a bonfire that can still have my s'mores.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Those are good ones.
When
Lake
the
Oconee.
mosquitoes come out, you can go to that.
The Ritz at Lake
Five-star
Oconee.
Yeah,
Island.
yeah.
Pro tip, Ritz at Lake Oconee in Georgia. That's all I got to say. Number 4, favorite restaurant here on the Emerald Coast?
The Bay.
The Bay. Oh, the Bay is so good. Their sushi.
Yeah.
Hot mess.
Really good. Hot mess.
The
so
hot
good.
mess.
Absolutely.
Their fish tacos
They are
with
good.
the braised greens.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm hungry now. Number 5, what was your first car?
A Ford Probe that was a hand-me-down from my sister.
I love it. The Probe. Gosh, I forgot about the
Yeah,
Ford
that's what the Probe. Yeah,
The
black.
Ford Probe.
Yes.
That's so good. All right. Number 6, do you speak any other languages other than English?
No,
Okay, I just wanted to sign.
I took
asked
4 years of
another guest
Spanish
that.
though.
You don't know any of it. Like all of us.
I know.
Cerveza.
I'll tell you what I know in Spanish after this.
Fiesta.
Yeah. Number 7,
Si.
dog or cat?
Dog.
Okay. I'm a cat person, but I get it. Dogs. I love dogs too. I had a dog when I was growing up. Hey, you are now off
I've
the
never
hot
had a
seat.
cat. In all
Very
fairness
good.
to cats,
Very good.
I've never had a cat.
They're easy. They don't like you, but they don't cost much problem.
Well, your
so they're
cat's
very easy.
mean as-
No, well, she's not mean to me, but yeah, she's mean to people.
I've known
mean
Mittens
to
for
people that
11
she
years.
should be mean to.
And she's warmed up to me, I think,
She
a
has.
little bit.
Brandon's allergic
11.
to like
I'm
every
allergic to
cat,
cats, but not
mittens.
Not.
I think she's long-haired.
Weird. I
Maybe
think you
Mittens
guys
is.
clean your house like super spotless.
It's pretty clean. I've been there.
Every day.
It's pretty
I
freaking
do.
clean. Yeah,
So
yeah.
There you go with the you
Yeah.
thing again.
I do.
There you go.
He
with
said
the
you.
you.
He's liberal.
He's cleaning.
And I took full credit. I said I do.
Like we're scrubbing those floors every minute.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm over there like Cinderella or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
Danielle's like, "Get down there, son."
Is she?
I believe that.
She's gonna kill me for that comment.
I got
But,
2 follow-up questions for Cindy though.
Yeah.
Your
Yes.
maiden name and last 4 your social also.
Wait, our questions used to be like all the questions you would ask on your security password. And I was like, I gotta start changing these questions up. Whataburger is not going to be one, so I felt pretty good about that.
No, that's
Whataburger.
actually good.
That's
That'd
a
be
great
probably
answer.
a good one.
That would be a good one. Whataburger.
Nobody would know that.
Nobody would know it. When I was in Spanish, I only did 2 because that was all that was required.
Yeah.
And then I picked my college degree based on the fact that I didn't need a foreign language. So business school
I did
sounded
the same.
really
Business
good.
school was
Yes,
good.
it sounded really good. And it wasn't international. So I was like, we'll just stay local and then I'll work up from there. But
I'm
yeah,
fluent and translate.
but when I
Yeah.
was, the one phrase I remember out of my Spanish class is "Chicle en la basura, por favor, señor Becker," which means throw your gum in the trash, Mr. Becker.
You hear that every
He was that
day.
kid. He was that
5
kid.
days
You're the
a week.
one who banned all that shit when we were kids. You'd be chewing it and sticking it under the desk.
from the
And now
country,
it's like
though.
banned everywhere because of people like you.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
'Cause I
no.
know you because
JB.
they had to tell him to throw it away because he'd be
JB.
like, the flavor would run out and he would just stick that baby right underneath
So
it.
fair play. I never really did the sticking under the desk thing, but I'm sure I threw it in places I probably shouldn't. But
If
I
you
don't
throw it in
remember
a
the
trash
under
can
the
that doesn't have
desk.
a trash bag,
Oh, it
it's the
sticks
same
to it.
thing.
It's really
yeah.
bad. You're right.
That
It's
is
really
worse.
bad.
Same thing,
It's
same
really
thing.
bad.
It is.
They're like
It's
that
really
guy.
bad.
They're like
Good
this guy.
call.
I stopped doing gum though.
Yeah,
it's
I don't
like
chew.
it's not great on my teeth or whatever.
Don't
So
you
I
like
just don't go.
TMJ too? Because
I
Crystal has that
do.
too.
I
Yeah.
do. I've been doing Botox, baby.
Nice. I
Yeah,
heard that
it
helps.
cleans up the TMJ
Right?
so good. But I got one time where I just felt like I couldn't eat. It hurt so bad. So I went in the doctor and the first time and he was like, "Yeah, we can fix this." And and he's the same doctor my wife goes to, for other spots. But he feels it around. He's like, "Oh yeah, that muscle's tight." And so then he just shoots it right along there. And I think I'm going to have immediate relaxation. He goes, no, it'll take about 4 to 6 days for it to work. I'm like, dang, I'm hurting now.
Yes.
Sure enough, I woke up like day 3.
Oh, good.
And I was like new money.
That TMJ
is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's painful.
But it's
I don't have
it's-
it, but
it's
Crystal
painful.
does.
Yeah, you just sympathy pain.
It's
I
really
just keep chewing the
painful.
gum.
You're like, hey, man, it's painful. I don't have it.
I got pain other places, just not in my jaw.
Yo. True North Pest Control. They are all over Central Florida, Georgia, and they just moved here to the Emerald Coast. I just switched my service over to them. You got to check them out. Tell them JB sent you. They'll take care of you. We are a bug-free podcast because of them. True North Pest Control. Now back to the show.
Well, Cindy, I want to dive in
Okay.
a little bit to like what I want my audience to get to know you a little bit. So maybe you can give us like the 3-minute background, like kind of how you got here. And I know I say 3 minutes, but quite frankly, it's your show. So how, just, because I know you're in banking now, and I know you also do many other things. You've got some products that you have gotten involved with as well, and we can talk about those things. But in fact, we'll throw up like a link or something like that as well to your stuff. But I just want our audience to get to know kind of like how you got here. How'd you get from? Are you from Alabama? Is that what you?
No, I'm from New Jersey.
Wow.
Thank you for reading my bio.
I did. Yeah. I just skipped right through that one.
How long have you been
right through
in
that
the
one.
South? Because you have zero New Jersey.
So I'm from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. So it's not North Jersey. I think North Jersey may have a stronger dictation than South Jersey. So
Like Spring Lake area.
None.
No.
You don't have any.
Yeah, no.
Well,
you've
okay,
been
so
down
do you
for a
want the
while.
do you want the 3 minutes?
Let's get it. We're sitting back
So
and relaxing.
I grew up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. My father's an engineer. I moved to Huntsville, Alabama, when I was 14. So my parents moved me from Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
You told me this.
That is 70% Jewish to the Bible Belt. Mm-hmm. So like I grew up, like my best friend was Jewish. Like I lit candles at her bat mitzvah, and then I moved to like the deep South where, everybody was, or you were either Jewish or Catholic. It seemed like that. Now I was not raised in church, so it seemed that everybody, my friends,
Catholic or Jewish.
yes.
Yeah.
And
now,
so
is it bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah?
it's bar for guys and bot for girls.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
I really appreciate that. I've never known that distinction.
Yes.
What's the one when I went to one where there's a guy and a girl, brother and sister, did it together? It wasn't is that still a bat mitzvah? Because it wasn't a bar mitzvah.
If I don't know the answer to that, but if I were to hypothesize, I would say it would bar because it would go with the male.
I'm going to Google it, but it was too at the same. It was such a pretty ceremony.
Oh, it's really cool.
Really cool.
I've never been to one. I feel like I need to find me some Jewish friends that are ready.
Oh my gosh,
really
it's the
cool.
best thing
I wanna
ever.
try it. That's
So-
what I
You
wanna
just
try.
go and you you celebrate. It's beautiful.
That's so great,
they read the
Jason.
Torah. They do in Hebrew. They have to learn the Hebrew. It's beautiful.
beautiful.
Well, that's cool.
It is.
That's cool.
Okay, so yes, I grew up
I'm
there.
gonna have to check it out, huh?
Yeah.
What you doing, Juice? You googling
I
something
can't
over there?
spell bar mitzvah.
dash
figured that.
MITZ.
It's 2 words. Isn't it?
I figured that one. I figured when he's over there. The other day we were talking about cystic fibrosis, and he was like ST, and like, I was like, no,
CY.
no. Yeah, so he couldn't figure it out. So you moved to Huntsville.
Yes, moved to Huntsville,
14
Alabama.
years
14
old.
years old.
Into the Bible Belt.
Yes.
Which, again, I think, not to put a strain on people that are Catholic or Jewish, I think, though, if you are from the Northeast and you come to the South, when we say Bible Belt, you just got to experience it.
Well, my father
It's
was
different.
just like, the churches are nicer than the schools. That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
That is-
Sometimes it's true.
So, but anyway, so moved to the South, moved to Huntsville, Alabama, went to high school there.
Mm-hmm.
I was captain of my dance team. Fun fact.
Nice.
Captain of my dance
Okay.
team.
Makes sense.
And because
Checks
I love
out.
to dance. And I went to my freshman year of college. I went to a small college in North Alabama on a cheerleading scholarship. And then I went to Auburn University, and I graduated from Auburn in 2002.
Beautiful campus, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In PR, and then moved to Atlanta, started my career in banking. And I was being recruited to either kind of do the corporate ladder, move to like Charlotte and kind of do like the big corporate thing. And I, when I was 19 years old, at my senior trip of high school, we vacationed. We spring break. My girlfriends and I, we had spring break. This is where we came, and I was putting the stuff in the car to leave, and I looked out at the water and I go, "I'll live here one day."
Nice.
Yeah, you will.
There's a lot less people here then, right?
Yeah.
And
So,
less
but I moved here when I
high-rise
was
and stuff.
23.
So you're local.
Wow.
Yes.
You're
But you moved here. You met your husband here.
I did. I met my husband here. I met my husband out at a bar.
But he went to Auburn. He went to Auburn too.
He went to Auburn. My husband and I were at Auburn the same exact time,
And didn't know each
1998
other.
to 2000.
And never met each
Never
other.
met. He said, "I'd love to see God's home videos of us just like brushing shoulders."
Oh, that's so cool. That is funny. Like, what is that one with, I can't think of the actress, but it's like closing doors or sliding doors, sliding doors.
With Gwyneth Paltrow, yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow, yeah. It sounds a lot like that. It's like sliding doors, but your door finally, you caught
Yes,
it down
yes.
here. What bar was it?
It was the Village Store in Sandusky.
Baytown.
You know what? You told me that.
Yes.
And was that when they had the like
Baytown.
live band? Was that like when it was hot? I mean, it was a happening place back then.
at the time it was happening place. I mean, but I was 20, whatever.
It's still happening.
How much 26?
It's not happening for me.
It's like the only nightclub around.
We went there. I made him go with me. I made him go with me like 2 years ago.
Like an anniversary?
Let's go. No, it was just like a Saturday night. And it was the kids. The kids were both asleep. I was like, come on, let's go. He's like, Cindy, please don't make me go. And I was like, please go with me. And so I was like, come on. He's like, Cindy, it's like dirty.
We're going clubbing.
And so we literally go, and he was like, he's sitting there because he's just like, I don't want to be here. And I'm like, come on, let's go dancing. And he's like, ugh. And he like rolls his eyes and he comes out on the dance floor, and these like college girls are like, oh my God, it's so cute. Somebody's dad's here.
Yeah. It used to be cool.
I know it. That's the way I feel. I went with Jackson. He turned 21. He wanted us to come down, and it was on the Gasparilla weekend, so we dressed up like pirates and went to the whole parade thing. And I just all the kids there, and you've got so many kids that are over drinking, and you got all this stuff. And at some point, I was like, I'm totally in dad zone. I'm not really feeling it right here. I mean, I enjoyed it with Jackson. I had a great time with him. I enjoyed my time with him, and but I enjoyed the dinners and the lunches better than I did the parade stuff. The drinking and the parade. Yeah.
Somebody walks by, you're like, maybe you should have some Gatorade. And
right. Here's some water. Let me swap out for you. Some water. Let's get you a couple IVs.
Do you have a ride home, dear?
Yeah, right. Let me call you an Uber.
Do you have an Uber app on your phone?
Do you know this guy? Yeah. 100%. So you met your husband here. You've been here on this Emerald Coast for do I have it right? 18 years? Is that right?
No. So, I'm 46. Okay. So 23 years.
So even more, 23 years.
Yes,
that is insane.
Yes.
I mean, you are like old school. How long have you been here, Juice?
Since 1996.
Yeah. So I mean,
20.
Do the math for me. 30. That'd be 30 years. Yeah.
29
years.
Yeah. Tallahassee. Yeah. Those people don't do math at all.
Dude.
Those people don't do. That's the criminals. They don't do no math.
We went to Panama City.
They shut in spring break down there, man. That place got rowdy.
That's what I heard.
The sheriff made some comments here recently saying
the sheriff
that
can't shut it down though.
Well, he says he's meeting with community people, and they're going to change. They want to change some rules or something. We'll see what Look, let's see what happens.
Try to control
Well, they
10,000 college kids.
I think they're going to change rules of like Pier Park curfews. I mean, that's what they've done. In Seaside and 30A. It's stopped a lot of.
I don't judge those kids because that was me.
Yeah,
that's like I don't know if I agree. I mean,
it was definitely Jason and Jason here. I'll tell you that.
I'm not big fans of.
Oh, is Juice Jason too?
Oh yeah.
Juice is Jason.
That's why I got Juice.
Yeah,
that's
Juice.
why
He's been Juice forever.
Because I started on the beach at Sandestin. There were 5 Jasons. So I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I got to change it.
I like Juice.
We'll go back.
I don't know any
I
of
like
words.
Juice too. I mean, Juice has got good connotation.
It does,
Denotation. Yeah.
Juice. But Juice is loose. But I'm not a big fan of kind of the like nanny state sort of things.
Exactly,
I don't like that the government locally or nationally starts incorporating more rules. I understand why we got there, and I'm not and I get it in the community, and I want it to be policed. I think that the government and certainly I think our local police officer, which we'll have, we've got a special guest coming soon. We can ask, but I think that. It's probably, I think if I asked them, they would say they would rather the parental guidance be there
for sure.
For that. Not really have to step in. But absent of that, when you've got kids going, breaking, really causing disruptions by, hurting
college kids don't have parental.
Whatever.
I mean, the parents don't come on the college trips.
Well, that's not the college kids.
It's not the college kids. It's like I think it's 17 and under or something like that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That was me. I mean,
No, I mean, we've all been there. It's just more. It's just this area has more of it.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's just gotten bigger since we were there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's small groups, not.
The truth is, it's not even that warm here.
I kind of agree. Yeah.
It's freezing cold.
Yeah, but they don't care.
Agree.
My husband said that they went to Panama City. He dug a hole in the sand and just laid out in the hole. So
that's a good idea.
So the wind
knocked the wind away.
That's great. So Cindy, you got down here. Were you in banking when you were here too?
Yes.
And were you able to work remotely? Or
no, I started my career in Atlanta which is now Wells Fargo, and I moved here, which is now Bank of America, to open a lending office in lending.
Okay, but you're also kind of like a specific person in the lending, right? You deal really in certain types of
well, I
properties and stuff?
I do residential lending, but I specialize in custom construction.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
I'm the custom construction guru.
That's where she has all of 23 years being here. She knows like anyone that's wanted to build something like really nice down here on 30A. And she's the girl.
Like Alice Beach,
she's the lady that can get it
Beach,
done.
Water Sound,
right?
All that. Like I was lending in Alice Beach 15 years ago, and nobody even knew what Alice Beach was.
Wow. So everybody online, if you're watching or hearing this, Google Alice. It's actually ALYS.
Yes. It's beautiful.
You think this is Europe almost on the?
It's so beautiful
on the Emerald Coast,
and it's
pick one up.
The thing about the custom construction stuff is really fun because you get to see like the plans and like Alice. Like I remember seeing like all because you get to see the plans. It's not that I analyze them to death, but it is part of the loan package that you put together. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, wow, this is some really cool stuff. Like like the courtyards. I mean, like just like the thought, like it's very, aesthetically very like clean slate. Obviously, I'd never seen anything like that in all the different plans that I had.
You need to show a picture online of what this place is.
Yeah, we'll try to pop one up for those watching. It's a good view, but. So you were into the banking, you settled into that, you've been doing that for a long time, but outside of even banking, though, I know you're heavily involved in the community. You're a member at Good News Methodist Church, which I started attending this year for the first time. I stepped back into church for the first time. And
Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming. I'm super proud of you.
Yeah, no, I finally just decided that I was going to, start forgiving the church and find a spot to go because I've had a hard time with it. If
no church is perfect.
No church is perfect.
That's right.
It's fallen people in there. It's fallen people, man.
So I'm good with the fallen people. I think my issue is that sometimes I go into church and I get offended. Now, when I say that to people, they go, well, the gospel's offensive. I'm like, look, I ain't got no problem with offensive gospelness. I said, and it's not so much people, but like if you're from the pulpit and you're offending people that I know that we're going into
but church isn't really about your feelings. Church is about you serving there and being in a house of worship with other people.
It is worship into it. It is worship into it. But I also feel like I have friends that have different viewpoints all across the plane, right? And I want to make sure that they feel like they could step into that church without somebody going like, oh, why are you here? And there are moments from the pulpit that I've gotten that feeling like I couldn't bring this person here. I couldn't bring that person here. They wouldn't be. I agree. It wouldn't be a safe space for them.
I agree.
And I now the gospel itself can be offensive because it's a mirror. It looks at you and it points out what areas of your life that you could do to improve. But
I don't know. I don't feel like the gospel is offensive.
Well, I'm saying it not the good news of Jesus, not the good news of Jesus. But like if you've got a hidden sin, it's going to point it out. If you go through the whole book, you're going to go, ooh, I should be kinder. Ooh, I should have patience. Ooh, I lack joy today. So you can have those things that can sound offensive to you if they're not
in the moment. It could be offensive, but not really. It's just trying to better you.
100%. I agree with that.
Safeguard you, and you can do what you want, but
I agree with that.
If you do that, you're going to run into some situation.
I heard the coolest quote the other day. God is the ultimate gentleman. That he will still allow you to do if you want to.
On your free will.
Whatever
you want to do.
He's the ultimate gentleman, and he will allow you to do it your own way. But his way is with your best interest in mind.
It's so much easier.
Well, Cindy, it's also that free will, right? That's the one thing God will never take away from you is he will never take away your free will. You can choose to do the things you want to do. Here are things you should do better, right? And by the way, that word offensive is also kind of like, if you go in them Bible belts, and maybe not so much around the Methodist world, but the Baptist world, that the gospel is supposed to be offensive, and it's like, sorry, all my Baptist friends, not everybody's that way.
There's so much love in there. I'm
super throwing it out there.
So much love.
I agree. Yeah. But I've been to so many where I feel like the church has been grace light. Like they've almost gotten it. They've not gotten it all the way. I will say that I have been to Good News now 4 times and maybe 5, and I'm planning to continue going. It has hit me square in the face and things that I needed to hear. I've enjoyed meeting some new people that have been very friendly to me. It has felt like a safe space to continue to grow my faith. And, from a recovering pastor, that's kind of nice, So, I've enjoyed every moment of being there. And so I really do like it. And I know you're a member there. Didn't want to go off on that tangent, but, it is ADD. We just $10 podcast. So, but you have been there, and first podcast. You have been there and doing the church thing as well, and being involved in your community, and you've led women's groups. My wife and you are in the same book club together. I mean, there's a lot of overlap here, but at some point you, I guess, prayed about it. Things came to you. Maybe somebody said, "Hey, I'd love to hear a little bit more what you got to say," and they said, "Let's do a podcast." I mean, how'd you get there?
So, I have been praying for probably about 10 years about, asking God to give me something that I felt was more naturally me. I feel that with my success in my career in banking, I have been working against the grain because I'm not naturally good at math. I don't love math. I love people, but it's a lot of math and it's a lot of really hard, stressful work. And I feel like the reason why I'm so successful is because I've had to go against the grain. I had to work so much harder to be as good or if not better. And I just prayed and prayed. I said, God, please give me something that is more naturally me, that would be something that would be fun and like low stress, because all the things that my job is not, it's high pressure, it's high stress. And so I just prayed and prayed, and I would come to my husband. I would be like in tears. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm so stressed out. I'm not my best self. Like, I would go to work, and if you got like a 30-minute snapshot of me, like on a stressful day at work, you would not think that I was a Christian.
Really?
You would think that I was
lost all that religion then.
I mean, just like,
New Jersey?
just
North New Jersey.
I was like, it really doesn't, it brings out the worst in me. The stress brings out the worst in me.
Yeah.
And my husband's just like, it's not time. And I would get like upset and be like, but I'm so ready. And he's like, what are you going to do, Cindy? And I'm like, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to we're going to sell our shit and we're going to move to Maui. And I'm going to smoke weed and bake banana bread.
I need some banana bread.
So that sounds like a great plan.
What is a plan? Can that be my plan?
Yeah, I'm in.
And my husband was like, I get that. He goes, but you would be bored in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He goes, maybe 3.
Because you're a people person.
He's like, he gives 2 weeks, maybe 3. And so anyways, probably about a year and a half ago, praying about it, like, is this time? God's like, no. And then I hear the Holy Spirit tell me, you're going to do a podcast. And I was like, huh? I was like, okay. That's
do you think it was audible?
Well, yes, it was audible.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. God has to speak to me audibly, because I would just be like, doo-doo-doo. I didn't hear that.
That's good. No, I've heard that before. I've heard that.
The Lord.
It's not really come to me as much audible, but I know people that it has. That's why I asked the question.
It's very different. People. God works in people. Where
everybody's got different spiritual gifts, for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay. And then I was like, how am I going to do that? And then I got some different opportunities. One is with the Halftime Fellows Institute out of Dallas. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the book Halftime by Bob Buford. And there's a women's book, Women at Halftime by Carolyn Huckleberry Hux. And they're great books, and they're about people that have achieved success in their careers and feel God calling them to do something different.
Yeah.
And it's about helping those people transition from one success to, like, the Buford's motto is from success to significance.
Okay.
I like that better than good to great.
And then
I do like success to significance.
Good to Great's my favorite. One of my favorite by Jim Collins is one of my favorite business books. Yeah, it's a great book. It's a great book. So anyway, so that is kind of transpired, and I was like, it's kind of weird because I don't actually, at the time, I had not ever really listened to but maybe half of a podcast ever. I really enjoy music, and I love to read. Yeah, so if I'm listening to something, it'll be music. If I'll read mostly faith-based books. And so anyways, I was like, this is kind of weird. So I told one of my friends, and she goes, dude, that's kind of cool. You should just talk about what's going on in your life. I was like, how to do that? She's like, you got to find some pillars. You got to do a little marketing. You got to get a logo. You do this. I'm like, okay. And so then probably about 6 months later, they kind of help you get a plan together. And so I was praying about it, and I was like, God, do you really want me to do this? Because I always ask for confirmation. Just like my husband. He's like, Cindy, you know that you fact check God. Like, he tells you to do something. He's like, and then you like fact check him. He's like, I'm just telling you. He's like, I'm just saying. And I'm like, okay, I own that. Okay, I get that.
I think he's so big, he don't.
He can handle
care.
it.
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah,
okay
yeah.
with it.
So
He gets our humanness.
I prayed about it, and then I was like, okay, give me a sign. He's like, so that day I like get a text from my one of my business partners, this guy that I absolutely love. His name's Randy. And he's like, hey, you want to be on my podcast today? And I was like, so I go and I'm on his podcast, and I was like, okay, you're going to give me some questions? And he's like, yeah. And then he gives me like 4 questions, and my daughter's like, did you even read them? I'm like, it's about mortgage banking. Like, I know everything about, well, I don't know everything. I know a lot.
Yeah.
And he had me on there, and he didn't ask me any of the questions that were actually on that he told me. But it was like, but I left, and I called my husband. I was like, I had so much fun. And he goes, you did? I said, Jeff, I really feel like I'm supposed to do this. He goes, well, you're going to do it then. And then I prayed again. I was like, God, are you really sure you want me to do this? So I called my good friend Cindy, who's friends with the Beckers. And I said, Cindy, because I thought I would need like a co-host. And she's fabulous, as you guys know, because you had her on.
So we had her on, yeah.
Yes.
Cindy Cole.
Cindy Cole,
Yeah,
yeah.
Cindy Cole.
Cindy Cole.
Time for that.
The T-H-E, like the Cindy Cole.
Cindy Cole.
She's so, I can't tell you how much I freaking
She's
love her.
dynamic. Yeah.
She's freaking cool.
Yeah, she is.
She's good. She's into the market.
And so she, I call her. I was like, hey, what do you think about being like my co-host? Because she's like cool. And she's like, she goes, you know what? My first inclination is no, but I'm going to pray about it and I'll get back to you. I said, okay. She goes, give me a couple days. I said, cool. She calls me. She's like, I don't feel like I'm your person, but I know who you're supposed to call. I said, who? She goes, my friend. She goes, you know Danielle. I said, yeah, Danielle from our book club. She goes, yeah. She's like, her husband's doing a podcast.
JB.
And I said,
JB?
I said, really? She goes, yeah. I go, well, may I have her phone number so I can call him? So I reached out to her and I'm like, is it okay if I contact your husband, you know? And
By the way,
Under the
by the way,
table.
both ways, that's a great call.
yeah. And so I and she was
did.
like, sure. I said, may I take you guys to lunch and just like tell you kind of what's going on? And she's like, sure. So I prayed that morning. I'm like, I get on my knees. I'm like, Lord, if you want me to really do this, like again, if you really want me to do this, like, please let me know right away. And we go to lunch, and I literally I left and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really going to do this. And so Jason has
started
like,
doing it, man.
Yeah.
We started doing it.
And that's a testament to JB. There's nothing. JB will. There's nothing that's scary to Jason Becker.
Well, I'm willing to tackle it. I mean, I started doing the pod, as you guys know, we did it in the house, and then we got this opportunity to create a studio, and then I was like, well, I'm not going to just do it for me. I want to put other people's stories out there, and I love to create. I've started saying it's good to put good out in the world, and I really do believe that. And what Cindy's bringing out there has some really positive messages that I think can be impactful, but I also think that female voice is so important. I have 2 daughters.
I do too.
I think they need to see
I have 2
women
daughters.
leaders.
Juice has got one.
One daughter.
What about girl parents?
Yeah,
Yes.
his is just now starting to say some words.
It's going to be daddy.
He's 1.5. I waited till I was 43.
That's okay. That's okay.
Started
It's
got
okay.
myself. Got himself. Got him.
Keeping me young.
Isn't she amazing?
Yeah, I didn't have any white hair 2 years ago.
Sure, blame it already.
And those
Put it out
girls are
already.
And
amazing.
everything from that moment you met me has been like a cakewalk.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I got it over here. Yeah, right.
Nope.
Yeah, no, it's difficult because I'm challenging her, she's challenging me. We're trying to find ways to communicate better, get what she's saying so that I understand, because everybody's brain works differently.
Oh, we're totally different.
And
I'm
we
like,
are different people.
I'm like, whoa, man.
Yeah,
We're like
we do.
really different people. But we both love Jesus.
Yeah, we got a
We
lot
both
of
love
grace
Jesus.
for each other.
You and I shared the same mission. You feel like you're called to help me. I know that you're the person that has been placed in my path to help me. I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
I hope I know I say that.
You say that all the time.
And I
get
am.
it.
I mean, because he'll say something to me. He's like, blah, 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 4K camera, zing, zong, zigabee, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool, man.
I know. I said
thumbs up. I'm like, I don't need to know what the 4K
I do
and the
think
do and the
By the way, Cindy,
yak don't talk back. I'm like, dude, I okay, yes or no? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
right.
You tell me, man.
she's right. I have got to get better sometimes at doing that. Just to be fair, I don't like this. Isn't mansplaining. It's just me. I do it to everybody. I over-explain to everybody
everybody
sometimes.
knows what you
I
know,
think,
yeah.
and I want to tell you exactly how I got there because I feel like that'll help you understand. But that's not what everyone needs all the time.
Yes.
So I've got to figure out how to filter my own self. Heck, I need to do it on this thing podcast sometimes. I overtalk.
Well, you know,
it's just what it is.
my job in banking is to take information that the bank, like I communicate to the client what the bank wants. And so I have to decode it and I have to take their personality and explain it to them where they understand it, where they're not like people, because they're like, why do they need this information? Like if you just ask them for something, you have to be like, okay, you sell banner ads on NFL stadium. And they're like, okay, you're like, you know how you have to get, you know, the person to sign off the contract. And there's like all this weird, like little legal verbiage at the end. Like if something were to happen where, you know, the company goes out and they could still go after you. He's like, yeah. I'm like, it's that. He's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, I'll sign it. So you really have to like identify with the person and explain it to them where they're like, okay, cool. Like you want them to the whole time because it's very stressful.
Yeah.
So the whole time it's like, you know, cool. So you can't talk in like acronyms and stuff like that because that's
And
literally
every industry has their acronyms.
They do.
I came from the software industry, then I'm in the pharmaceutical industry.
Yes.
And now I'm in the banking, real estate. I'm not in banking, but I borrow a lot of money.
We love you.
So
Thank you
I
for your
borrow all
service.
kinds of money.
Thank you
But
for your service.
They have their own acronyms. So
Yes.
every industry. So you start doing 3-letter things. People are like, what are you talking about?
We need to do a parent acronym. My husband and I just say stuff to each other. We're like, I think I need to work on that. That was actually pretty good.
The kids already got it, right? Don't they text them like that? They're texting.
They are. The
I don't know
text
what they're
started all.
saying.
I
I
think
think it's
Google.
age.
Yeah.
Our kids have
Or they think of the
a
emojis, yeah.
language that they speak to themselves. I didn't realize this, but my daughters, when growing up in our house when we had it in Burnt Pine, they shared a wall, like their headboard shared a wall. And so they would tap late at night, and like one tap meant this, 2 taps meant this. They had up to 15 taps.
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
it. 19,
So,
she said.
maybe
Oh,
so.
wow.
And
It's like a Morse code. Like
it
a
was
Morse
like a
code.
Morse
Yeah.
code
Yeah.
of what they were trying to say without getting out of their room.
Like-
I thought that was very interesting.
Dad's a jerk.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's actually pretty small.
That was tap 7. But so I know your driving motivation sounds like that you felt your faith, this calling to kind of step out, get a voice, do something that's relational. But outside of that, is there any other motivation that you just felt driven to like bring people on and talk about stuff?
I feel that it seems to me that there's so much lost in layers right now. Like I feel like people see somebody or meet somebody and they have like a 2-minute conversation, or they see something on social media and they kind of decide who that person is or make their assumptions, good, bad, or indifferent. And I just feel that so many of us, pretty much everyone has a story, and within a story is wisdom. And in that story can help somebody else. And I feel like in this society we've gotten, even though we seem like we're more connected through things like social media and events where you have your same conversation. Like last year, I was at an event and this girl was like, oh, hey. And she's somebody who needs to be socially involved. And she was like, oh, hey, are you ready for the summer? You know, and I could see her literally asking the same people. And this girl's fabulous. I'm just saying, but she came to me. She's like, are you ready for summer? I'm like, absolutely not. And she was like, huh? Like she was shocked that I was like, honest. I'm like, no, I'm not. It's like next week. And I'm like, nowhere close to being ready, have my kids and all the things I need to be in, have my schedule, like all that. And, got my big vacations done. But, I just feel that, due to fear of judgment and, misunderstanding and, being, left out of things, that people are scared to take off their masks. And I think a lot of people are wearing the mask, but the beauty is actually behind the mask.
Oh, for sure.
And so I feel that that's something that there's this book, I don't know if you guys have read it. It's so good. It's called The Cure.
No, that sounds good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's the cure. And it's, if God's not who you think he is, and you're not who you think you are. Something like that. Now, you might want to Google that.
Could even be like, I've heard it in other ways. If your dreams are really small, then God, maybe God's not as big as you think He is. There's this idea that we put, maybe it's the idea we put God in a box.
Yes.
That this is where God can be. And we talked about, I think it was the last pod, we talked about having a God as a sky daddy,
Yeah.
where he's
an ATM.
He's throwing out wishes, and when he gets them wrong, he's keeping X's and O's everywhere and marking things off and saying this works. Right. He's ready to get you. So
The Cure. What if God isn't who you think He is, and neither are you?
Oh,
yeah,
very
dude,
good.
It's so good.
Very
Bruce
good.
McNichol.
Yeah, it's so good.
2016. Yeah,
That's a great question. Though.
2016 book. That's
a whole podcast, right?
That is a whole
So
podcast.
That's a whole podcast.
That book is
really
it's
good.
solid. Yes.
So you read a
on
lot.
Amazon, yeah.
So yeah, I do read when I have time. I love to read, and I love to facilitate studies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I literally thought today, because I would pick a book that was given to me from the Lord, a book that I was supposed to do for the Bible study for the women, my friend for women, and I would read the chapter and I would create my own questions out of the chapter, and then, kid you not, I'd be like ordering, because I would always order people's books, and I would have extra books so people wouldn't feel like bad if they didn't bring a book. Like some people didn't read the book and they would feel bad and they didn't have the book. And like some of us would have like highlights and markers,
Tab it out on one page.
Tab it out.
And like my best friend like never read it, but she'd always come because she loves me, and she'd be
Here's
like,
your book.
and she'd walk in, she'd be like,
I got your book.
And she's like, I'm B Team Bible Study. I'm like, it's cool. And so I always would order books, even for the very last meeting, stuff like that, so people would have them in their hand if it just made them feel better. And I would go on Amazon or ChristianBook.com. And it'd be the study guide. And I'm like, damn. Because I would create all my own questions. And God was like, I was preparing you to write your own questions for the podcast. And I'm like, oh, now I get you. I got you now, buddy.
Yeah,
that makes sense. That
He's
makes
like,
sense.
nothing is out of design. Nothing is out of design. Cindy.
I know.
And I want to
That's
say
so
too,
true.
that
There's no
her
coincidence.
podcast has got it's really a good look. It's got, again, bringing on some really great people. And I know she's got people coming on even down the line that she's booking out, and some great stories.
I'm so excited about next week.
Great
I'm excited
testimony
for you.
Great
That's awesome.
testimonies. Because I think you're right. It is important for us to share testimonies and to have those stories. I said it last pod too. Revelation says that we're saved by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimonies. So of course I know Jesus,
which is really pretty strong,
right?
That's
But here's the thing:
statement.
I know that it's Jesus that saves us, right? But the reason I think it puts it in there, that in the word of our testimonies, is because that is what points to Jesus. When we can say, I've gone through, or I've done this, or I've overcome this, I've accomplished this, or I've had this happen to me and I was still sustained. That is Jesus.
It's hard to argue
It's
with
hard,
personal
it's hard to
experience.
see that.
Well, that's the whole. That's
It's hard
the
to
whole,
argue
That's
with
the
it.
thing about testimony.
Because it's you.
Yeah.
That's really good. This is going to burn inside me if I don't ask you this question, and I want to jump back. So kind of jumping out of, and before I jump out of it, I do want to say it's Soul Hype Cindy. We're going to throw it up there, Soul Hype Cindy. You can get it everywhere that you get your podcast. So make sure you check out Soul Hype Cindy and subscribe to her, and you can see what she's got going on. It's actually a pleasure to be able to work with you and to see and really just to help kind of bring your vision to light. And so I'm glad to be able to do that. But I'm behind the cameras on this one, which is nice. With that being said, I want to jump back a little bit in the banking world, only because I had a question, and then I kind of moved forward my own issue. But you made a comment when we were talking about banking that you kind of had to work so hard in it, and it could have been in math, but did you feel like when you said that, do you feel like it's because sometimes like the banking world seems to be dominated by, and a lot of industries are dominated by male personalities and men.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like in that world?
Oh, it was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough.
What is that like? And do you think it's getting better? So first, what is it like? And then do you think it's getting better?
Well, I mean, this is the thing, is that...
And I'm sure some places you're at, maybe now it's a little bit better, but when maybe in the beginning it wasn't. Yeah, right.
I mean, this, I learned very early on in my career that if there was something or someone that got kind of like beef with me or wanted to like tear me down or whatever, it was because of their insecurities.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So like,
100%.
so you kind of have to grow. Like, that's not me. That's your shit that you got to deal with. Like, and you just get out of my way and let me do my job. And so, it was very, very challenging. I've had some really, really, really mean things said to me. I've had major disrespect. But I'm a strong person, and my parents raised me that I could literally do anything I want to do, and I can be great at whatever I put my mind to. And I worked so hard for so long that I wasn't scared to do. Like, I remember one time this guy came into my office, this guy that we had been courting forever, and went the first time that I called to try to book a lunch with him. He's like, "Oh, your secretary called me." Told the guy, "Oh, your secretary called me," and the guy was like, he's like, "You're my secretary." I'm like, "I don't give a shit. Let's go to lunch." Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not insecure about what I got. So we would go to lunch, and the guy would like sit there and he would talk to me about football, and I would just sit there because it don't matter to me because I'm still getting paid. If you want to think that I'm the secretary taking notes. Right. Where I'm literally just absorbing all the stuff that you want. So when I put that package together, it's beautiful. And you doesn't even, I don't care who gets the credit.
You just try to ignore the noise.
You got to ignore the noise. You got to keep your head down and work.
And put out good product.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
You can't if you are tasked with a job, you do the best absolute job you can do. And you cannot worry about all the other things. That's, you are tasked with a job to complete. You complete it as well as you can. You do the best you can. And, and that's what I did. But I'll never forget that guy came into the office to do something, and he knocked on the door. And like like back in the day, you didn't scan everything. You actually had physical files. And I had like 5 files on my desk, like spread out. And I was like, because I was kind of in the back. So like you couldn't hear me because I was behind the vault. So I could like play. So I had like, I was sitting there Indian style, like at my desk. And I was like, I had like, I had like, Cypress Hill rocking out or something. And he was like, he came in there and he was like, "What's going on in here?" And then I looked at him and he looked at my desk. He goes, "Oh, you're the one who does all the work." And I was like, "Yep." And he looked at me and I was like, "I ain't scared to do hard work." Wow. Like, I'm not scared to, like, I'm not afraid.
I love that you weren't offended, because offended is such a trick. It's such a bait. We're all so offended.
I mean, I'm not saying I've never been. I mean,
we are. But,
no, I mean, the stuff that's been. I mean,
But if you let it roll off,
you have to.
Oh my gosh, you have all the power.
They'll literally eat you alive. It eats you alive. I wouldn't have lasted. I wouldn't have lasted 2 years.
Right.
I'll never forget this guy in Atlanta, where I literally got eaten alive by the wolves. This guy literally said to me, like, walked in, "I'm young. I'm not ugly." And I walk in, and he literally said to me, "How did you get your job?"
Hard work, buddy.
And I'm like, who would sleep with somebody to become a mortgage loan officer?
For real.
There's other jobs.
What kind of, I'm just saying.
Come on, bro.
I'm not slinging tax returns.
Mansion.
Yeah.
Spa days.
Yeah.
What you said was really important that people this day don't understand is it's not about getting the credit, right? Everybody wants the credit, the instant gratification, and to get to where you want to be. Sometimes
you
don't
credit
get it
away.
Well, but the thing about that some people have not really figured out, and it's sad, is that when you do a really good job and you work really, really hard for someone, there's gratification in that. You sleep at night, you go to bed, and you're like, you know what? I did the best damn I could do today.
Yeah. Today I did.
And that has to be enough.
It is enough.
But you know what? Success always follows that.
It does.
Because if you serve people like you want to treat them like you want somebody to treat your mom,
it comes back.
I mean, they know that. They can tell. People know when you care.
They do.
Well,
it's not hard to figure out.
You can't change people, places, and things. You can only take care of your side of the street, right? You can only do the things you can do. You can control you. You can't control everything else. And so you have to, like, your response to what people do, you can control. You can't control what they do. That's right.
That's right.
And that's a difficult thing to learn, for sure.
Do I think it's different? Do I think it will ever? I don't. I think it may be better. There are things now that have been in place by some of the really great companies like, Meta and all that. I mean, they do things now where people have like maternity leave, like, and the husband gets off too. And they, you know what I mean? Like they do things now that are more like centered around like holistically for the family, where that stuff wasn't.
No,
when I was growing,
Brock said he got 6 weeks paternity leave. I was like, what?
What? That's new.
I did.
I did it one day.
It is a new thing.
One
It
day.
is a new thing that has come out. It wasn't there for when I had kids.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's fairly
but of course
recent.
we owned our own business. So I mean, Danielle
that
was
was me
just
too, yeah.
Danielle was just working. She was popping babies out and doing route changes. At the same time.
Well, she was pregnant for 6 straight years, I think.
It
right?
was pretty much, yeah. It was nonstop. I said she was almost like a decade. It felt like, but yeah, I can remember one time we came home from our third child. We were in the middle of the route change, and I want to say she was nursing and punching in stuff for our route change because there's just nobody else that could do it.
Women are so amazing, by the way.
Before we go to a break, I do want to ask you, what would you say? And I feel like you probably have said it, but maybe there's something succinctly that you could say to a young female out there that is going into the business world today, and kind of wrap that part up. What would you tell them to do? Or how they should think?
Well, I think that you have to be eager to learn, and it's okay to say if you don't know something, find out. I think you should try to find somebody, because this is the thing: is have I experienced, some pretty rough stuff in my banking career. But I'll tell you this, and this needs to be said, it's super true. It's not just it wasn't just the men that were mean to me. It was the women that were mean to me too.
Yeah.
If they're intimidated, if they're intimidated, if someone's intimidated by you and they have an insecurity, they are going to mistreat you. And it's unfortunate. I've had people literally come to me like 6 years later at a wine festival and apologize for the way they treated me.
Wow.
So it's not just men, but I will tell you this. Usually there's somebody in your office who is successful and who was young at one time, and they were the go-getter. And you go to them and you ask them for some time, for some guidance at their convenience. Even if you're not making a lot of money, ask them if you could treat them to lunch. If they drink, maybe ask them if you could take them to a happy hour if it's appropriate. Like if you're a young, hot girl with your boobies hanging out every day at work, you probably don't need to ask the 50-year-old guy
the married guy out or whatever.
You probably won't. Just not because there's any even ill intention. It's just that if that's seen outside of the office, it may be misconstrued.
Not safe.
So you would. So in a case like that, you would invite the female colleague and the male colleague together. And then you would leave the same time the female colleague leaves. You don't leave. You leave the same time. You don't. You're never the last one to leave.
That's right.
But have an opportunity to get to know them more on a personal level and ask them kind of some of the things that they did, because I believe that true successful people really do want to share their wisdom, and things that they learned along the way.
Cindy, that is so important. And young people, I want you all, female and male in this instance, but we say it all the time, mentorship. We say it all the time, find somebody that you can mentor. Look at your friends, parents, look at, the people around you, in this case, even people that are more seasoned in business. Look at them and see who you can be mentored through that. That is such great advice. This is a perfect time, though, to throw it to our folks at True North Pest Control and that bug-free podcast.
The skeeters are out right now.
Hey, y'all, new customer of True North Pest Control here on the Emerald Coast, Central Florida, Georgia. You got to check them out.
Yeah, they get rid of all the unwanted pests in your house, including termites and mosquitoes. Tell them the jabroni sent you. Back to the show.
And we are back.
We didn't go nowhere.
Yeah, we back from the break, and I hope you check out True North.
We're having a potty break. Why don't we tell them?
Well, you got to stand up.
Well, Brandon
we took a
went
break. We
number 2.
had a commercial.
That was great.
You got to use that poo-pourri. Isn't that what they call it?
That's a nice bag.
Dude, that poopery's a bomb, though.
You got to spray it first.
It's so
You
good.
got to spray it
I've got
first.
some fancy butt spray stuff.
No, that's a smart idea. Why didn't I come up with
spray it
that?
I know
first.
it's
Why
genius.
did I come up
the
with
product's good too. It's good marketing and it's good product.
Smart.
I want to bring that back
I
to
should
you.
buy some. I don't have any.
Bring that back to you there. We're good. I just want to make sure people can hear you. Cindy, we were on break. You had made a comment though that when we were talking about kind of a serious sort of thing about just females in the workplace and some of the things you have to deal with. You also made a comment that I thought was good to know as well, because there are men that come alongside you that are really good friends.
Oh my gosh!
And that treat you with respect and from the get-go.
I don't know if it's from the get-go, because I would say most likely not from the get-go, because I've been told by more than one person, and one of them was very close to me. She was my assistant for 5 years. And she said, I was like, damn, why are you acting like that? And she's like, Cindy, you intimidate him. And I was like, what? She's like, Cindy, and then she started naming people. And I was like, I don't intimidate you. And she goes, no, but you did. I said, really? And I'm like, I never thought of that, that I was part of the problem.
Do we ever think that?
I never thought that maybe I may have contributed a little bit to it.
No truer words, right? Yeah.
But I do really like I will say, was I treated misfairly along the road? Yes. Mm-hmm. Did I become like amazing friends with some? I mean, there's a guy, and I'm just going to tell him. He probably won't listen, but somebody may tell him. But I have a friend. He was like my brother at work, and his name is Donald. And he was like number one in the company. I was number one in the company. We just were, but we were like best buds at work. Like, and it's so funny. We had a Hancock Whitney Honors event, where they celebrate all the top producers. And the first night, we like saw each other thing. We're like, what's that? Like, we did it. Cause like I'd go out and say like, where you at? What's your number? What you got? How far away? How far? And like,
competition,
and no, cause we didn't actually compete with each other. It was like, tell me where you're at. We need to go. Who do we need to mess up? What do we need to do? Like, being funny.
Yeah.
And, anyways, we went to, Hancock Whitney Honors, and we were like, yeah, we're partying. And like, my husband's like the third wheel. We're like, yeah. We're like, yeah. We went to a bar, and he was like, you want a tequila shot? I'm like, yeah. And so he gets a tequila shot, and I get a tequila shot, and his lime falls on the floor. And he goes to pick it up. My husband's like, I haven't said a thing. I have not intervened. Please do not eat
That's not what we're going to do.
He's like, do not. He's like, I will get you. He's like, I will get you a lime. He's like, I'm not. Anyway, so then like we went out, and we went to Waffle House at like 3:00 in the morning, and like went back to and we went back to, we're like still hanging out. My husband, and like at the end of the night, my husband's like,
scrambled eggs tastes really good at 3 a.m.
My husband's like, did you have fun with Donald tonight? And I was like, I really did. He's like, I'm so happy you did. He's like, I knew you wanted to have fun with him. You're always in the trenches together. It's fun. It's fun to be outside of the trenches.
I just want to know how you had two number ones.
Different markets.
It's a fabulous market.
Okay.
This is a fabulous market, and we had a great team. We had a great private banker.
I feel like there's a 1A and 1B.
It was
I feel
awesome.
like there's a 1A, 1B. I'm just teasing. No,
there's only one number one. Don't let them fool you.
That makes me feel like what's that one with they're in the racetracks or whatever? If you're not first, you're last. Ricky Bobby. It makes me feel like a little Ricky Bobby.
We talk Ricky Bobby at our house all the time.
So good.
That's
so good.
There's a second one coming out.
Is there really?
It's
so
do they need a second one? Do they need it? It's so good.
I totally agree.
It's comedic genius.
If Hollywood can do anything, they do a sequel and ruin it. 100%. If they can do anything,
I
they'll
can
really
take
get a
Step
sequel and
Brothers
ruin it.
too as well.
So speaking of comedic genius, I have to say this. I know that Jason's like your host, and he's kind of like the talent of.
Yeah, he's the talent.
He's a talent.
He is the talent.
He's a talent.
We're hired help. He's the talent.
He's good at talking.
He's a talent. But I will have to tell you guys this. You might not know it, but his role is actually the creative genius behind the pod.
That's right. I know. He's a smart guy.
I do appreciate that. Honestly, it takes a lot to bring it together.
It's what fuels you.
It is something that I love to do, and it's what I love to do even on my own pod, but I really love to put stories together. I mean, again, you've got to check out Soul Hype Cindy. Her first pod that she came out with was a banger.
Oh,
and you
so
interviewed
good.
one of your friends, Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Good. And she's a cancer survivor. And she just goes through it, her story and how to relate to that, and how she it just caught me off guard and behind the scenes watching it as I'm producing.
Crying. He cries a lot.
I do. I've broke down in tears. But it was just so good because I couldn't relate to her, but because I haven't gone through that journey of cancer, and I prayerfully, will have something else take me really quick and fast when I'm, 100 years old. But up until then, I hope I have a great life and burn it all out, right?
Yeah, I do. We'll be good.
We'll be good. Yeah, I'm about
50 by
I don't want to be 100. Y'all take me out about 85.
Well, as long as
85. If I can't dance,
Take me out.
It
That's
just
cool.
depends. Danielle's grandfather still walks and does stuff, and he's in his late
gotta
90s.
dance.
So
I don't wanna
as long
walk.
as long as you can
NAD.
still move around and do things, I
Yeah.
want to still move around and do things. But I guess my point being is she had a story about how she held off telling her husband
No,
for one
she's
more
so
night.
selfless.
And she had learned the news, but she just felt like she was going to hold off one more night. And I just thought, wow, that
speaks to who she is.
It did. It was just kind of like I wanted them to have one more night of peace
Yes.
before I had to tell them this is what I was
But it was
going
also
through.
for her
Yeah, I
one
think
night of
she
peace.
needed to probably
that's the thing. Like
process
she
and-
did
yeah.
that for him. She did it for her
Yeah.
husband because she loves and respects him.
Yeah.
But God's gift was for her to sit with him.
Her story's so good. I'm just telling you, go to Soul Hype Cindy, check out episode 1. The rest, there's more coming. She's got episode 2 dropped as well. Great episode with Jess Faye, and then you've got Chrissy coming out here soon. You've got so many other great
Yeah,
stories.
I've got Todd coming
that are
out,
great,
and I've got
yeah.
Debbie next week. Yeah,
it's going to be great.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. I love what you're putting out there. I think it's so great. I want to ask you. I know you work with some charities. What are some of your favorite charities to work with?
Well, my ultimate favorite charity is the Destin Charity Wine Auction Foundation because that foundation actually funds so many
It does.
different charities in our area. That
And
charities
that's coming up. The main event's coming up.
Yes,
soon,
the main
right?
event's coming up.
weekend, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is next
Do
weekend.
you go to the dinners and all that stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've done it before. I don't know that I've signed up one for this year, but I have done it
I
before.
need
It's
to
great
do.
charity.
I've never been here 11
It
years.
is the. It's
never
the-
done it.
I've never done
it's
it.
But I
the
heard
ul-
it's amazing.
It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate event.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's got everything.
Music, people.
It's
got
a lot of high.
good
It's high
calls.
energy. Yeah,
you know
it's
what my
high
dad
energy.
says for a good party? You need 3 things.
Okay.
Actually, you need 4, but he told me 3 because he
Okay.
knew that I had number 1. Good food, good music, open bar.
Sure.
Well, that sounds like a good party.
So number 1's good people.
Wait, do you help put this on? You can get us in there?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't
you
actually.
run the
I don't
table?
actually. My husband's actually on the board and has been past chair, and so he's but he's so passionate about it, and
That's great.
And so that's the main one.
Okay.
That's really
we
good.
gotta
And
talk to
why
Jeff.
why do you think leaders should give? Why do you think that it's important to be able to give back as a leader?
I think that people that have been given the gift of leadership, it's actually I feel it's a gift, and I believe that just like everything in our lives that we are called to do for others and to build community and to love one another and to support each other, and I think that it really is something that, as an example, we have to be more than what we say. We have to do. And I think that we're called to be an example, and that comes with a price, and that comes with other things. But it's still a calling, and it is an honor.
Well, and others
If you
before
can
self
pour
is
and
always
give
good.
to
Yeah.
others,
Yeah.
that's an honor.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, it does, like, we as like American society, we feel that like giving is always money. And, and I think because people may struggle with that aspect, but giving is of all your talents.
And
It's
your
not
time.
Yeah, and your time.
That's
your
the most
time is
precious
actually
resource we have.
Yeah.
your time is your greatest commodity.
Yeah.
It is.
And it is so important that you invest
is.
your time wisely on how you feel like is your best.
I think you're totally
to have your
yeah.
to have your best moments.
I think that's so good, Cindy. That's really
It's
good.
a deep cut. We don't have a deep cut sound for that one.
That's a
We have a
that's a
deep
good
cut?
one. You probably got a brilliant somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
We do have.
Do you even have it up?
Brilliant. Oh, nice.
There you go. You
I
got
like
a
that.
brilliant
I like
comment.
that.
You
I like
got a
that. I'll take
brilliant
it.
comment. Now it is time for the Delve card.
Juice, oh juice, where are you? We're waiting patiently for what you do. Google Guru, he'll make it right. In a flash, he'll solve the fight. Oh man, he's good at poker, that's right.
Chill.
Juice.
I wrote every lyric.
That's kind of. I'll be honest with you. That's kind of a cool custom song. I've not heard that.
Good.
I've not heard it.
Best $20 I ever spent.
It's so good.
There's bargains, and then there's bargains.
Then there's bargains.
Then there's bargains.
I said, you got a
There's a
jabroni
good deal,
song.
and then there's a bargain. It's
I
two
said, you
different
have
things.
a jabroni song
You know
for
what I'm talking
juice.
about? You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
I-
about?
There's something
You had to write the lyrics. AI wrote the lyrics, I feel like.
Well, I sent
It's
it.
pre-AI.
I sent it to somebody, and they put a great spin on it. I said, look, he Googles, he plays poker. Give me a song.
Hey, what happened at Poker Monday?
Did you win
Yes, he is
Juice?
on
You're good
a
at poker.
The juice is loose.
He is
juice
on
is
a
The juice is
roll.
loose because you know what the juice is loose, and the reason why is because he
on
knows
a
what
roll.
it's like for the juice to be running.
I need
That's
juice.
how I got the nickname. That's how I got the nickname.
Juice, you
I was
didn't teach me
fast.
poker.
And at the same time, Juice was
I
out.
can teach you.
I know a little bit about poker.
Yeah.
I can play.
Don't
but
trust him.
Teach your old dog new tricks.
I watch a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
YouTube poker.
Yeah,
a
that
lot
sounds.
of
They have
Brad
that.
Owens. I watch a lot of
He's good.
YouTube.
Sounds like
He's
a
actually
hustle.
worth watching.
He
He's worth
explains
watching.
it a lot.
Actually, he's worth watching.
I like
He's
watching
good.
I probably should subscribe to some poker channels. I
It's
never thought
good.
about it.
It's very good. Brad Owens is one of the better ones. He sits
He
down
explains
tables.
it.
He's good. Yeah, he talks you through it.
Okay.
Go ahead. What's your
I
question for
said,
today?
what do you think?
Wait, hold
could-
on. What is this?
I always explain. I always
Delph
explain
card,
Yes,
this.
yes.
No, they're
I've
not
stopped.
paying us.
I know.
They're not
I'm
paying us.
I've stopped
Are we gonna
explaining.
Are they
royalty from
sponsors? Are they
Delph cards?
sponsors?
No,
They
and
won't.
I've reached out to them because I give them such great shout out. But Delph, what I'll tell you is Delph Card, DELVE, Delph Card.
Okay.
You can find it online. Find it online. As a parent, when my kids were teens, they're all pretty much out of the house. I've got one left. They come into the house. They sit down at dinner. How's your day? Oh, it's okay.
No.
Oh, it's fine. I don't know. What's up, bro? You know, it's all that kind of stuff. And so we would
But
sit.
that's a term of endearment, right?
I
kinda.
guess.
Yeah, it's like,
I
homeboy,
guess.
what's
It's
up,
like, don't
homeboy?
talk to me,
Yes.
Dad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if I have to take you back to where we're from.
It's,
Yeah,
it's like a lot.
Yeah, homeboy, what's up?
It's like the F word, and it can mean so many things, right?
Oh, really?
So, yeah, because
I don't know.
what's up, bro, is nice, or what up, bro, is bra or
But
bra.
it's still been like,
you know?
I hate you.
It's kind of like bless your heart.
Yeah.
It could be bad or it could be good.
Yeah.
Bless her heart.
I'll be honest with
Bless
you.
her
No,
heart.
so I'm from New Jersey. So when the bless the heart thing, like when I was in high school, I'm like, I don't understand the insincerity. Like, I was like, I don't understand that.
So thank you for saying bless your heart. Yeah.
But I'll be honest, how many times has it been a compliment? Like, oh, I got this great promotion. Bless your heart.
It's usually after something bad's happened.
probably-
Yeah.
Bless your heart.
But you know what?
But it's usually derogatory.
But-
I would say
I don't know.
90% of the time it's
I don't
probably
know.
derogatory.
I would say it's more than 50.
More than 50.
More than 50.
Yeah.
I want to know 99.
We still got off this Delph card, but I like your tangent. You're a tangent like we do. We
Yeah,
just,
You
she's
guys
a-
told me we're just having a
Hey,
conversation.
she's- on our podcast.
She's an honorary jabroni.
she's right here.
Do I get a
Rachel
cup?
Brunette.
Do I get a
She's a
cup?
brunette.
Do I get a cup?
You got one right here.
You're right in front of you.
That's our
You
jabroni.
gotta have balls to have a cup, though.
Oh, good
really?
Lord.
He's talking about sports.
Oh,
He's
good
talking about
Lord.
sports.
Good Lord.
don't know.
All right, so Delph Card. Back to
Delph
Delph
Card.
I was like, I don't think he was talking about sports.
We're going to move right through that one.
yeah.
Delph Card.
Okay, Delph Card.
Delph Card.
Go.
DELVE, Delph Card. You can look them up, go online, find them because they are great conversational starters, and you can pull a question out, ask it, and go around the table.
We
and
do,
it- and it
we
keeps
do
it
that at our
going.
house,
So
but it's not called Delph. It's something else.
There's a lot of them out there. These
They're
are
great.
What's
great.
the other one called? We should switch to that one.
We
then.
probably should. I need to
Yeah,
find
yeah,
out the
okay,
sponsors.
I'll,
Go.
I'll,
Delph's not got back
I'll take a
to
picture of it when I get home. Text
Yeah,
it to
that'd
you.
be good. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
So, what do you think could actually unite most people? So, what do you think could actually unite most
Well,
people?
I will
Food.
give you the church answer because
Oh.
I do think Jesus can unite people. And if you can come to understand the Jesus I know, you will find so much grace and love in that it can unite people. Now, that's the church answer. Now, let me try to find something else. What can unite people?
Food was a great one. That's a
Food is
great
good
answer.
one, yeah.
Food unites people?
Spirits.
Yes.
Music,
Yeah.
concert. You ever been to
wines,
concert?
Spirits, yeah.
It's a
music
a
does.
group event like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's- When it's really good, you're like,
reveille.
wow, I was there. Were you there?
Yeah. Concerts
Like a
are
Woodstock kind of
concerts are
thing.
good.
Yeah.
You think about how people get excited, like, oh, do you want to go to like Thai food? It's like you're enjoying some of their culture.
Food is such a
Yeah.
It brings people together.
Yeah, it
You
does.
eat, you break bread.
good thing. We got to eat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, social media doesn't do a lot of bringing together.
No,
Are
it,
we
I
good?
think it does. Well, that's our job, right?
All right, so before we had a little technical difficulty from this $8.25 podcast.
Went down from 10, down to $1.75 since we started. Hey, I'm here. We need to be going up in value,
Well,
man.
I do agree.
Don't be $11 podcast.
Don't be
I do
discounting me
We'll
$1.75.
go to $10.01 right now.
Hot crypto.
So
I'll take $10.99.
So that's right. So the Delph, we were going through the Delph. I think
Yeah,
that
what
we were
bring-
talking about those.
unites
We had,
people.
yeah, we had a lot of things that bring you together. I think social media, to a degree, I see it sometimes though, because everybody comes together and is like, "Have you seen that meme?" Or you share it, or you share that reel, or you see something that's funny. I mean, everybody has a text thread of reels that well, at least guys do. I don't know if girls do. I assume you do. But we have a jabroni chat. I have another chat with one of my best friends and my brother. And I can't show anybody the reels that we send each other, but we laugh at that and it brings it together. They're just goofy and they're dumb and they're immature and all that stuff. Yeah. But you send those out, so that comes together. But I equate it to when I was in middle school. There was a show on TV, and every time I came to school the next day after that show, it was like a Thursday night show. And it was called In Living Color.
Oh my gosh!
Such a great show.
That's where talk about comedic geniuses.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Jim Carrey was discovered there. Jennifer Lopez was a fly girl.
Yeah.
But you remember,
wasn't Paula Abdul on that show?
Yeah, she was. She was a choreographer.
Yeah.
She was a choreographer because that's who I wanted to be. Just so you guys know.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Fox.
No.
Nice. I love
Paula
it.
Abdul.
Paul was amazing, man. But you come in, I'd be like, homie, don't play that. Remember you do that one or Fireman?
What was
Bob,
that? The
or
French
whatever his name.
No, homie, don't play. Homie, the clown would go to Chez Whitey. The French restaurant Chez Whitey.
There's no way we're getting to this Delve card.
Yeah. No, we're doing the Delve card. But I think those things brought people together, right? I mean, so there are shows and things like laughter,
joy, sense of humor.
Well, our text thread, the Jabroni text thread, we send all of our questions to Becker, and then he laughs at them, and
I come with my own. Yeah,
he comes up with his own.
I come with my own.
Is he an asshole? Oh no!
No. Hey, first off, no. Second off, they don't send me any questions.
The most recent thing, though, that I thought of about Unity is that when the eclipse happened, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
So stars are like
everybody.
Yeah,
the
wonder.
eclipse,
It's like
everybody
a
was
worldwide thing.
Yes.
Shuttle goes up or something like that. Everybody comes together for that. Big
So-
events
You know
like
why?
that.
Because of the wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Explore and
So, Cindy, what you've mentioned Jeff, your husband, many times. What is it like being married to Jeff Garrard?
Hey, I could talk forever about my husband.
I've seen the picture and your beautiful kids, by the way.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
But your husband's awesome. And he's tall. I want to be tall one day.
I love my husband so much. He's average height. He's average height.
Well, I'm not. I'm short height.
He's average height.
Mm-hmm.
But I get like no one like I could talk about him. I talked about you today in this thing, blah blah blah. And he's like, "Oh really?" And I'm like, "Did you talk about me?" And he's like, "No, really, honey. They talk about themselves." And then But anyways, I love
great shoe game. He's got a great shoe game.
Ooh,
Yeah.
what kind of shoe game?
It's good.
High
It's
end
good
shoe game or sneaker game?
I just say it's good.
Both?
It's both.
Like
It's-
Jordan?
Yeah.
So this is about
possibly.
So what part of being married to him do you want to know? Because there's so many things like.
I say give me like a couple great qualities that you really love about him.
Okay. So my husband has the gift of wisdom, and
That's the best gift ever.
he has a gift of wisdom, and I'll say that he is the least judgmental person I have ever met in my entire life.
I hang out with him.
He's the coolest. No,
would like
he's
that.
he's
very judgy.
He's
play poker, Brandon.
He's
He's played poker. He's come a couple times. Yeah.
We're trying to get him.
He's
in,
gone
but-
more than I have.
Yeah.
he likes poker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could tell he was a good. Like
He's
he's only
good.
played a couple times.
He's
I could
put
tell he
some-
knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
you know
he's
what I'm
put some
saying?
analytics to it.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably needs to learn us more, and then
He's
he'll
a
figure
smart
it out.
guy.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
saying
if
he's
he's
a smart
learn
guy.
us, we'd be in trouble.
He's super
Possibly
smart.
so.
Super smart.
Yeah,
guy.
my husband's I would say he's intellectual.
I'm not super smart, but I'm a people dude.
Yeah.
And I love.
He is,
I love-
It's hard to get both like
I need it.
dialed in.
That's
Yeah.
that's him. He has the personality, and he's super
The smart, yeah.
He's just, but above all, like I just respect my husband so much. He is, he's just a great guy, and he's a great dad, and he tries really, really hard, and he takes care of things. Like he's just somebody like takes care of things, and I just, we've been married now, I think 17 years, and we've had our ups and downs and really highs and really, really lows, but he is my puzzle piece. Like in the mosaic
nice.
where you need a bolder color,
Yeah.
and it's a bigger piece. That's my husband.
Isn't that cool though?
That's
that,
awesome.
It's like,
that
I'm
you
so
guys can
grateful.
compliment each other,
Dude,
in
he's-
those kind of ways. That's really cool.
He is he's special person,
did you-
special soul.
Did you hate having to give up your last name because you've
No.
got a tough name to
No.
pronounce?
No, I will say that.
Only
So
from the writing. I mean, I got it, but there are people
your
that
maiden
do.
name?
my maiden name was Tucker.
That's an easy one.
Yeah,
Easy.
and it was great, and it kind of goes with Cindy.
Yeah.
It was well placed.
When I look at it, I feel like it's
described me.
Gerard, but I feel like it gets butchered some, doesn't it?
It does, and I remember that. So I have a mentor, and she told me the greatest gift a man could ever give you is his last name. And I'm going to have her on my podcast. Y'all would love her. You guys need to have her on here. You would eat her up like a little piece of cake. She's so awesome. She's the best.
You had him a cake.
Like, you just, I mean, she's.
We've now gone to a $12 podcast. She's getting us new people.
The name of this podcast is I Love Cake.
I love cake. Isn't that Let's Eat Cake? You know that on Netflix is a great show.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Oh,
Let Them Eat Cake.
They make cakes out of they make it look into a football helmet or
Yes.
a cup or a coffee
That's
cup.
what my sister does. That's what my sister
Then
does.
you have to fool judges that come out, celebrity judges
Is
come
it
out, and
cake
there'll
or
be
not
three or four of them out there, and you have to say, is it cake or not? And they put it right beside what they made and what is real,
And they're the same.
and they look identical.
They're the same.
That's
But
so cool.
weird.
And whoever can
a little
fool
weird.
the judges
weird.
kind of wins and wins a prize at the end of the show. But it's kind of cool.
But you know what? Everyone loves a theme cake.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to, a Georgia game
We should do a
Yeah.
crawfish.
and you had
steamed cake.
a
Georgia,
Georgia helmet
yeah.
cake, you'd be like, you know what? I like that cake.
Yeah.
I had a
People like theme
bulldog
cakes.
for my groom's cake. 2021, so
They
24
made
years ago.
specialty cakes
Yeah.
then back then.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I had to go.
they did?
I had to go. I had to
didn't
go
know
like a
that.
grandma. I had to go to grandma. Back then they killed the chickens.
I would love to see a photo of this
chicken
cake,
to make
dude. Is there a cake? Is it on
I guess it
Instagram?
would be chickens.
Oh,
No, it's on Facebook.
Well, I killed the chickens because they weren't making eggs.
MySpace,
That's
yes.
it. It's on his
definitely-
MySpace. It's
I
on
to
his.
see a picture of this cake. Is it on your MySpace page?
I
By the
never
way,
got into
check out-
MySpace. I never got into
What the hell
MySpace.
do
But
I
that is
know
funny.
on MySpace?
You know what? When MySpace first came out, and then Facebook across churches, it was like, don't get into the devil's, and quite
on
frankly,
Facebook or MySpace?
both,
Which one?
both.
Oh,
It was
God.
like that was like the devil's
If you'd have
juice.
started a church
so, yeah.
on then back then, or
Oh, it'd
But
be massive.
This is the thing too, though. Like
They weren't all wrong.
whatever the devil wants to use to try to make things evil, you can
use it good.
Like,
God
you
can use it for good.
Yeah, there's always light, and you got to bring the lights. Our daughter bring the light.
I try to put, like I said, I love to put good. It's good to put good out in the world.
Yeah.
It really is. And so there's so much negativity. I had somebody come up to me. I was at Bijou on date night with
I
Danielle.
love Bijou.
They came behind us and he just tapped me on the shoulder, and it was a guy I hadn't seen forever, and it's great to see him. But he just said, "Hey, man, I just want to tell you, and he's kind of one of those voyeur, social media people that never like, never comment, never do, but they evidently see." And he's just like, "I love everything you're putting out there."
That's cool.
Because there's so much negativity.
Oh, what a
and
gift!
it's always good to put good out in the world. And I thought you're right.
Got
It's
'em.
always
No.
good to put good out in the
The
world.
negativity gets all the spotlight,
Yeah.
but at the core of what humans are,
Yeah.
I see good in every single person.
Yeah.
I really do.
No, I
Really?
know you
Every-
do.
I
He does.
do.
you want to tell us the story from today? Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm pretty sure that there's at least one. I don't know. I just met
he's got
you.
a story he
I just
told us
met
all
you.
there.
I just met you, but in the less than I'm just saying the less than 24
As
hours.
you get to know me, you'll understand. So
Probably the worst I'd seen Brandon. He came in a little hot today.
That's true.
I almost had to call a sheriff
You know
on
what?
somebody today.
I never see Brandon
And
upset.
this person was having a very emotional day.
It sounded like she was either mentally ill or
I didn't know
an
if she was
addict.
going to hurt herself or us.
Yeah.
So it was just an uncomfortable.
I feel like
but
this
I'm gonna
story's
reach out
being
to that
wrapped around
person.
a little bit.
And if you know me at all, I'm going to give her a big old hug.
I've only
And-
seen Brandon
Yeah,
like
that's
one,
not what you did, though. You
one
said-
other time
I
I've
use
seen
my
him.
words.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were
Did he
eating.
have security footage of this?
No.
From the
No.
cameras
She
in
was
the
having
parking
some
lot?
kind of bad day.
By the way, I've told him he needs to have security on his parking because
Yeah,
he's right
he really
behind.
does.
He's right across. He rents to the bowling alley across the place,
Yeah,
and so on
I
the
do.
weekends, these people come over to his parking lot, and they are just the.
Wait, they
the
park?
se-
They use it for
he,
parking?
He
They do,
rents
but-
his lot
I
to the
make 'em
bowling
pay
club.
for it.
Right, he rents so the overflow comes in his lot, and the things that happen in that parking lot and
Oh, I
what
can
he
only
could.
imagine.
He needs to have his own YouTube channel of.
Don't.
Oh, gross.
just-
No, you
I do
don't.
not.
I would say that's a bad
Should we
idea.
shoot a pot
I'm
there?
not saying you wouldn't get a lot of views.
late night
I'm not
pod?
saying you wouldn't get a
yeah.
lot of views.
Why are
I'm
drunk
saying that's
bowlers
probably you
the
probably
weirdest
wouldn't be your
people?
best use of time.
If you're a drunk bowler every Friday and Saturday night, aspire to do something different.
Hey, you know what? They are having fellowship. They are having
more
fellowship.
To life
I know
than
a lot
being
of these
drunk.
guys he's talking about,
In
right?
my
Some of my best friends,
He went from loving every single person he's ever laid eyes on, in person and on TV, and then he would turn that corner.
Pick up
fast.
your beer cans, by the way. If you drank the beer, throw the can away.
I'm gonna pull this all the way back in, and we're
Thank
gonna
you,
turn
Jason.
the corner.
Thank you,
and I
JB.
want Cindy, I want to ask you, what's your biggest surprise in being a mom?
My biggest surprise. God, there's so many surprises that, what a gift it is. Like I knew I always wanted children like that. I just knew that. Like I just never thought that I wouldn't have children. And so, I mean, it's like something I dreamed of having, growing up. And my girls, look at my girls.
Yeah.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah, they're
We're looking at
beautiful.
the screen.
Dude,
they're
they
great,
are
yeah.
like,
So they're how 8 and 10? I can't tell.
so they are actually 8 and 10 in that picture, but they are now 10 and 12.
Oh, that's
Okay,
great.
It goes quick, right?
It goes quick.
The days are long, but the years are short.
My mom told me that. It's so true.
And it's weird.
Just how much of a gift it is. It really, it's an honor to be a mother. Just the gift, today at our church, our Pastor Brad Good, he did a thing on kind of entitlement and how they did a lot, speaking to South Walton, and it has this great series right now. And he talks about entitlement.
That's good.
Last night, I was filling out my daughter's physical form for tryouts, and I thought, I was like, oh, there was like, it's literally like 10 pages.
Oh,
and
I remember those.
And I just, the doctor has to sign it, but you have to fill everything out. It's nice to fill everything out for them, so that all they have to do is just look at it, make sure you're not lying, check our box and sign. Like it's more efficient for them. And so I was sitting there and I was like, oh, I was so tired. I was exhausted. It was like 10 o'clock. And I was like brain dead filling it out. And I thought, oh, God, I can't have to fill all this out. I wish they had like a system that you could do it online and sign it once and just say if there's any updates every year. And if there's not, you just click it and it automatically feeds together.
Yeah,
Anyways,
that would be smart.
I'd already made up the solution for them in my non-coding software development brain.
If I'm a
And,
coder, I got this fixed
and
right now.
I sat there for a second and I said, you know what? I'm so lucky that my children are healthy to do a sport.
Yeah.
It's great to recognize that.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
We miss so many amazing blessings. You just get caught up in it.
You get caught.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And
like,
it's just like, take a second to say, wow, holy moly, I can breathe today. I got another day to go to work.
Well, that message that he
So great.
gave was so great because he was leading up into Easter. There was several other analogies he had, but one of them was just the fact that Jesus came in on a donkey. But he refers to like Joseph Maccabee, I think it was about 100 years earlier, 150 years earlier than Jesus, was a guy that came into Jerusalem. They were conquered. The Israelites were conquered, and they were under control by a different group, right? And he came in and he took names and kicked butt and kicked them out and gave freedom back to the Israel. And from that, though, he was riding in horses and people had palms and they were cheering and they were going on. And then if you fast forward then to Jesus, who had been creating miracles a lot. And he had
He had
followers.
a pretty amazing 3-year ministry.
3-year run, right?
Yeah.
And crushing it. And now I know there's no social media back there, but if you're making lame men walk and blind see, you're healing leprosy.
They're trying to throw you off a cliff and you become invisible and walk
At
through
one point, you raise a guy up out of his grave in Lazarus, right? You do all that. That word is going to travel.
Yeah.
You didn't
Who
need
is this
social
dude?
media.
You didn't need it.
And crowds were following him by the thousands, and they were growing and growing. And then he comes into, Jerusalem, and they are thinking this Maccabee. They're thinking, 120 years, 150 years ago wasn't crazy. You're only talking about a few generations.
I would say also at that time it was the Romans.
Yeah.
And so that's, you think of a centurion, you think of, a warrior on a stallion, you don't think of
strength,
yes.
not meekness.
Or
not
a savior coming in on a donkey.
Yeah, you're not going to be that humble.
Not somebody who's
no
washing.
king is riding a donkey.
Not somebody who's washing feet and hanging out with the.
Since I'm not here to take
bad
over,
people.
I'm here to tell you how to serve.
Yeah.
And that your freedom is going to be putting others before yourself. Your freedom is going to be loving people like you want to be loved. Your freedom is going to be leaning into that. That is in your freedom.
I like that.
And that's getting out of that entitlement zone and saying, like, I don't deserve anything. Mm-hmm. Right? And it was a great message, hit me square in the face. I mean, it was... So what's funny is my first few times it was guest speakers, and so they were good, they were fine. Again, enjoyed it. They were good. I felt like I could bring, again, my word offenses may not be the wrong word. It was more offended by, for my friends, right? That I felt like they might not could come in and hear the
that's
word.
why it's so.
He crushed it. He's crushed it. He's been great.
So that's why it's so important for people to really worry about their own relationship with God and not other people's relationships with God. Man,
are you saying mind your own business? And
I'm saying there are only one person you accountable to, and that is Him.
Yeah, but that's not on. Just to be clear,
job to judge people.
Just to be clear, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it.
I know.
No, that's what you're saying.
I'm wanting to say, how can I bring in others and make them feel comfortable?
That's right.
And there are moments in time.
At.
Well, there's moments in time. I was down here. Look, and I'm not going to throw a church under the bus, but there was a moment in time I walked in the church and this pastor started talking about how there was going to be a men's retreat at one weekend, and then the women's retreat was the next weekend, and he talked about how the women would be in like they were gonna have a pajama thing. He's like, guys, we wanna be there at that one and help serve. And I thought, what is he talking about? What is he doing?
Come on, weirdo.
Like, what is wrong? This is not okay speech. So there's been times that I've just seen some awkwardness that I haven't seen sometimes in churches down here. But that, look, I'm also, because I think maybe I did it and I was
to a strip mall.
Well, you also, but this is the thing.
Probably.
You also come like to a perspective as an attender of a church that 95% of the other people don't have that perspective. If it's even, what I'm saying?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I had a different perspective, and I was in an outsider's church, so I was bringing in people that really, my church that I did and was fortunate enough to be a part of was really for people who didn't like church, which is a different crowd. But how can I still make sure that they can sit inside? But Good News has done a great job, and so. But you're right. You need to be 90% of the time. In fact, I say 99% of the time when the pastor is saying something and talking, most people go, "Man, I've got 5 other people that need to hear this message,
and not me."
And not me.
Yeah.
That's what they think.
And not me.
Because everybody thinks that.
And not me.
Man, if my buddies were here, they'd hear this message.
Well, they say when I look at my husband and I like elbow him a little bit. I'm like, this
one's for you.
They talking.
This one's for you, bro.
Oh, for real, this happened. We were sitting in church, and like the night before, I was like, we need to get a place like during COVID. I was like, we got to get out of here. We got to go to like Bahamas. He's like, oh, we're going to go somewhere we can get by boat. If we need to leave, it'll be how we can get there by boat. And I'm like, all right. And I'm like, what about the Bahamas? So we look at real estate, looking up, and I found this house. And he's like, well, we probably want to go at least look at it in person. I was like, so-and-so, we can ask somebody to do it for us. We got da-da-da. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, all right, it's in consideration. I brought him all this information. And the next day, we're at church, and Brad's like, it's never enough. He's like, you have a nice house. And you love your house, and then you want a nicer house.
That's Americans, right? That's how we are.
He goes, and then you get a nicer house, and you're like, you know what? I want a house in the Bahamas.
Not enough.
And I literally was like, oh shoot.
So he nudged you that time.
I was like, ooh. Well, I usually get poked, but they don't twist it. I got twisted that day. I was like, oh, I felt bad.
Was it Silas that was the one in prison, and he said, "I'm still content."
Paul says in Philippians, Silas. There could have, I'd have to go and look at, but Philippians 13 was I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? Philippians 4:12 says that I've learned the secret to life, and in all things I can be content.
Okay.
Whether I'm wanting or not.
The secret
to life.
I can be content.
Right. In plenty and
because there's so much happiness there.
Yeah.
Because you're always in the pursuit of the next thing.
Right.
I got to get the bigger, the better.
Right.
Well, it's the American way.
Sometimes it's okay to live in the moment.
I really believe,
and that's the secret to life.
So I really believe right now there's a book and a speech called "The Recalibrating of the American Dream," and I really believe that we are in that. Like that's going to define
a reset.
I think it has to.
And I'm not saying Look, Solomon said in I think it's Proverbs, I don't know the exact chapter and verse right now, but he said there's nothing new under the sun.
Yep. My
So-
husband
so
always
it's
says
always-
that.
it's
My
always
husband
coming
says
back.
that all the
Yeah.
time.
And he said that back then.
Yeah.
And we still
Yeah.
say it now.
No, right.
The sun,
Right.
the sun hadn't
Right.
really gotten gotten good at her job
That's
yet.
right. So Cindy,
She's still working. She's an intern. Sorry,
Cindy,
go
I'm
ahead.
going to keep the conversation going. How does your faith center you?
Oh, so many ways. I believe that time is our greatest commodity. And so I try to start my day with my first fruits, which is reading the Bible, which I'm reading Isaiah right now. So I read the Bible, and then I write either verse that I really feel is speaking to me, and then I write, prayer requests. I write, prayers for the day, asking for
So
blessings.
basically
and certain things.
journaling it out your prayer life a little bit.
Yes,
Yeah.
I journal my prayer life and just write like things that I'm grateful for. And it's funny because I was reading a journal the other day and I'd opened it up, and because I don't overthink it. I'm like, this journal is from 2000. People think because I'm a banker, my husband's a financial advisor, that we're like but it's not actually that way. So I like just grab whatever's there and I write. It could be on the back of a envelope.
I do it. I do it today.
I just get it down because God doesn't care what it's on.
Right.
It's just like getting it out, like honoring Him with my first fruits of my time. So having Him first and foremost in my time is one way that centers me, and that just kind of gives me perspective for the day. And I feel that I am inviting Him into my day.
When you write it on something, and so one, I think that's really great. I think being in the Word at any time, if you can do it at the beginning, that's great. If you're doing it in your car to work, or if you feel like you are going to do it between lunch, anytime you can say, Jesus, come into my life and let's, I want to involve you in what I'm doing. I think he's relational, and I think that's really important. But what I'm interested too is that you say you just write it down. Anything? Are you saving all of these things? Do you save them somewhere, or some of them get thrown away? Some
of them get thrown away.
So then the writing it down though, the what do you get out of writing it down in that sense?
I feel like there's some, just going back to like Moses and like where they had to like carve things into stone. I think there's something about the action of it. It's just not my mind.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on this. I thought it was pretty cool.
I don't think you're just. I don't think you're just. I'm just trying to explain.
Of writing it down to commit it to memory.
To me, it is the ability to put action to what I'm saying in still a relaxed state.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've not thought of it that way, but when you were saying that, I thought, wow, because I know people that have journaled. I journal some myself, but I don't like write out my prayers and things. I'm not. Again, I think that's actually great. There's something to it. My daughter used to write. My youngest had a little prayer box, and she would write all her prayers as a little kid and keep them in a prayer box. And one day I stumbled over and went through them, and they were just so precious to hear her thoughts at that age, and the anxiety here and the little things that she had, or praying for her brother, or praying for her sister, or praying for this school thing. And it was just so neat to see like what she was praying up to heaven, but she had kept them all in little scrap sheets of paper in a little
so cool.
prayer box. And I thought that was,
Dad, you read
really
my
cool.
prayer box?
She got on to me for it. I talked about it to her, and I said, no, I thought it was beautiful. So she knows this story.
But she's like, but it's not for you.
No, it was, by the way, it was kind of happenstance. I didn't know, it didn't say like prayer box on it, right? It's kind of happenstance. But then once I was in it, I was like, First off,
you didn't stop at one. Is what you're saying.
First off, I want to give my children as much privacy as I can. I want them to own their space and have their life. However, it is our job as parents to keep them safe, and sometimes an investigative journalist is very important,
especially
to
now.
dive down into it and make sure that they're safe. Now, when I get to a point, like I didn't read all of it, right?
No,
and I didn't go through it everything, but I just thought it was so precious. And knowing that she's reaching out to the creator of the universe at that age, is like 7 or 8 years old, and sending up prayers. Saying this is what I need. These are the things I need.
What a gift!
So it's so cool. So what? We're kind of closing it up and ending this out, but I just want to ask you one more question. What would you tell your 25-year-old self if you could go back in time and tell
Cindy.
your we're going to do 25. We'll do 25.
I was 28.
Yeah,
I was 28 when I met my husband.
Okay, so but we can call it
27.
Knowing what you know now,
Yes,
you could go back in time and you could tell your 25-year-old self something, what would you
I'd
say?
be 21. Just 20 years or 25. Okay, I'm sorry.
We'll call it between 20 and 25.
I'll say
really
this.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Well, 21-year-old Cindy different than 25-year-old Cindy.
Well,
we'll go somewhere between.
You pick.
Okay.
Somewhere in between, whatever you want to say. You're going back in time. You know what you know now. What would you say to
Needs
yourself?
the most help, I guess.
Yeah.
21 to the 21. Yeah.
I don't know.
21
Both probably equal. Probably equal, just in different ways.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree.
21-year-old Cindy. She's. I would tell her probably not. I know that sounds crazy, but I'd tell her that. Well, I would say you could turn down the party notch 2 levels because you're scaring the shit out of your parents.
Okay.
I'd say that.
Yeah.
I'd
As
say
a parent yourself now.
now that I have a little perspective.
You're like, okay, I
a
don't
little
want them to do
perspective.
that.
I usually had it at 10, 8.75 could have been a little better.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
8.75 a little better.
Okay.
And just so that you may. I'm just saying that I did apologize to my dad before he died. I was like, I'm sorry, I partied so hard in college.
I love you, Dad.
War Eagle.
I love you, Dad. You
Or
did
Dan
go to
Eagle.
Auburn.
And no, I just would tell her that I'd probably encourage her to do to seek God more. I knew that but he also knew who she was, and I would tell her that I don't know if I'd tell her to change much. I feel like she had to learn a lot. But I would say, like, all your dreams are going to come true.
That's awesome.
Cindy, that's amazing.
Just wait. Just take
wait.
time.
Breathe.
Enjoy the jury.
Lean into
But it's
God
gonna
more. Your
happen.
dreams are going to come true.
Your dreams are going to come true.
I would say
That's
the same thing to
amazing,
myself.
Cindy. That's amazing.
I would say the same thing to myself.
By the way, we love
I
to
never
make
thought
people
of that.
cry on our podcast.
Sorry.
No.
Support it.
That's such a really cool answer
Yeah, that is a good answer.
because I think I would say the same thing.
I've started asking that question in the last handful of pods, and I really enjoy the different answers. But that's great. That's great. A lot of the times, I think what I'm hearing too is sometimes you're so hard on yourself at 25, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to.
I think I could have been harder on myself.
You
I don't
learn.
know.
In
I
your
wasn't.
20s, you learn.
You learn. That's the big thing. But if you
Learn.
could lean into something, I think we're leaning into a relationship with Jesus and knowing that your dreams are going to come true. I think that's amazing. And listen,
His
it is
promises are true yesterday, today, and
100%.
forever.
And forever.
100%.
And forever.
You know, one thing I actually talked today in my In the Word Wednesday that I do, but I talked a little bit about John 14, and it says, trust in me and trust in my Father, because I go before you to prepare a place for you, right? And if it weren't true, I wouldn't have told you that.
wouldn't have said it.
Right. But that trust in God, right, and not to trust also in me, is so important, because I thought back to Brooks when he was on our show on the 29th episode, and it was so good in that grief, and when he lost his son and he was in the hospital,
Broke my heart.
and he was so upset at God, and so and people would say, well, God's got a plan. He's like, well, this is his plan.
This
it
is a
sucks.
weird
I would
plan.
lose my
Yeah.
son, right? It's just
The
the
guy who started the halftime following Bob Buford
Yeah.
and rewrote halftime, his son died.
Yeah.
And it's just like something I think
Yeah,
but
hits
his
you.
life mission has now generationally affected my life.
Well,
and helped me become who God wants designed me to be at this time.
Things that happen in life, they don't happen. Like there's a verse that says that God can use all things for his good, right? Well, he can, but sometimes it's like, well, everything that happens is for the good of God. Well, it almost gets kind of misstrued. And it's like, no. What happened to Brooks and Monica was bad.
It's not fair.
But
It's not
God
fair.
can use that story and that testimony for his good and for good. And so there's a difference in that equation. But one of the things that caught me with Brooks, and is to me almost the most important part of that episode for me, different people get different things. But he had said that I was so distraught that I could not trust my feelings. I had to trust what I knew about Jesus and the goodness of Jesus. I was so angry, I was so distraught, but I had to lean into what I knew about the goodness, and I trust the goodness of Jesus and the grace of Jesus, because I couldn't trust my feelings.
No.
And that's so powerful. And so I think that as young people,
it's the only it's a solid foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the only solid foundation.
That's right.
It's
You're right. Everything else is into the wind.
well,
It really is.
I don't know if it's actually into the wind, but it's the same
less.
today,
Yeah.
yesterday, forever. I mean, it's
But if it's
truth.
not with him,
it's truth.
You gain knowledge, but I liked you said your husband, one of his greatest gifts is wisdom. There's a difference between knowledge and wisdom.
Yes. Yes.
I know tomatoes are fruit, but I'm putting it in a fruit salad. One is knowledge, but one's wisdom.
Wisdom's experience, I feel like. Yeah.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, it's something too with intuition. So it's why women, I think, have a better intuition than men, and it's partly because, and a lot of times, my wife can't explain why she feels a way that she feels about something that's going on, or some person, or some event, and I don't want to go there. I don't like this, or I don't like the person. She can't explain it, but it's something that they're in tune with all of their emotions and all of their experiences better than we are. And so she's like, I just can't explain it, but all of this life that I've gone through, my intuition is saying that's not right.
Yes. The energy.
Yeah. And so that's really good. Well, Cindy, it's honestly, it is great to work with you. Everybody, you've got to check out Soul Hype Cindy.
Check it out.
Check it out. It's so good. You can find it everywhere that you get your pods. We'll throw some links up and all that.
Yeah,
MySpace.
The main page is on MySpace.
Go to
Apple,
YouTube.
Spotify, YouTube, not MySpace.
Just
Page.
Just go to YouTube and just listen to it from
Honestly,
YouTube.
just absolutely.
Because if you want to look at me laughing or my outfit.
That's right.
You can.
Soul Hype Cindy, and you can, you just plug it in your car, hit Soul Hype Cindy, go to YouTube, hit Soul Hype Cindy at play. You can watch it, not when you're driving, but you can listen to it while you're driving. It plays just the same.
If you're at a stoplight and you're like,
pick it up.
I like
What's she doing?
What's she doing right now? What's the outfit today?
Yeah, she's got it's easy to consume too. It's easy. It's going through. It's 45 minutes. It's such an easy morning drive podcast.
I've gotten good feedback.
Yes, you have.
I've seen the people are my friends. I don't know how objective they are.
Everybody's got a 45-minute drive now.
Oh no, you had a ton of downloads on Apple and Spotify the other day, so I saw it, and you're doing great things and.
I'm trying hard. I'm really trying hard.
I know you are.
I'm trying hard.
You're putting a lot of work into it, and you're figuring it all out, and I'm glad to be along the journey with you, and we'll keep doing it. But it's a pleasure to have you on our podcast here, because I think
Thank you for having me. I've had fun.
I think you gave 100%.
Awesome.
The first I think you gave. No, we've had several Jabronis.
Well, the first member.
First member.
You told me I was a member.
You are a member.
You
are honorary member.
I mean, Cindy Cole could be the second.
Yeah, we kind of said Cindy was a Jabroni.
No, but did you give her that title on the podcast? Yes or no?
We did say she was honorary Jabroni on the podcast. We did say that, but we did give a Jabronette, not a Jabronette.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Mickey Mouse Club card.
We should.
Like
we should.
Card.
I'm actually want to get a koozies for us so that I can give everybody like a Jabroni koozie.
Oh,
tattoos. We'll have a tattoo artist, Jabroni.
Yeah, I'm not putting that anywhere. I'm not putting my face on anything.
That's exactly
on my body.
That's not technically your face, though.
It's an avatar. It's an avatar of me.
It's pretty darn close.
It's
pretty darn close.
It's the iPhone avatar of me.
He has his sunglasses too.
Yeah,
he does. The pink ones, just like that.
I need to get some. Well, Cindy, again, honor and a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun
with me.
I hope it was useful people's time.
Oh, people will definitely have it. Listen, this is the section I like to say, listen up, kids. So lean in, listen up. This podcast has been so good. But what I want to tell you is that I hope you get out of this, that centering your life around Jesus is so important. Starting your day off and saying, I want to serve others before myself is so important. Finding mentorship is so important. And these lessons we talk about and go through, I hope you gain something from it or don't. I mean, what the hell do I know?
What the hell do I know? I'm just JB, middle-aged dad with ADD. Candid combos, jokes so lame, jabronis pulling a poker face. Just a couple of dudes with ADD. What the hell do I know? With JB.